One. Morning, YouTubers. Coming up this morning at a little after 7 o'clock, right after we get on the air, we're going to have Congressman Greg Murphy joining us by telephone. He's down in Wilmington, and they've got a big event going on right there. So stay tuned for that. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Grayford, how are you?
We're hanging in here this morning. We got Fox News break coming up in about just a few seconds, and then we'll be on the air.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
Good morning. I'm Rayford Brown.
And I'm Kelly Knapp.
And we're just going to jump right into it very quickly here. Our Congressman, 3rd District Representative, Dr. Greg Murphy. He's down in Wilmington, not too far from us this morning. And you got a big event going on there this morning, right, Doctor?
Yes. Good morning, Rayford. Good morning, Kelly. Today we're having our 2nd annual Water Summit, which is the 2nd year we're having a big summit that we're bringing together very, very smart individuals, experienced individuals to deal with waterway management in eastern North Carolina. Last year, it was really a smashing success. We had a lot of folks that came and really introduced the topic. What's going on in eastern North Carolina? What are the water issues that folks are dealing with, both inland, marine, and just around our touches of the coastal areas. And this year, we're going to hone down a little bit more on flooding issues. Last year was a big introduction, and we're working more on flooding issues this year. Have a great cast of folks that are coming present. Have about 170 folks in person, and everything else we're actually streaming online. And our website is gregmurphy.house.gov, and it will stream. It'll stream the entire summit all day long. So we're looking forward to it.
That's going to be a big event. I know last year you had a huge success at the meeting, your first annual. Thank God it's an annual event now in Greenville. That was great. I followed that the whole time.
Yeah, well, this year we're doing it down in Wilmington. Representative Rouser, this is his home district.
Right.
And so we floated it down this way. We'll give the Neuse River folks and Cape Fear down here a chance to enjoy the great splendor that the event brings together. So we're really excited. Senator Tillis will be speaking. We're going to have the mayor, Bill Sappho, speaking. Congressman Rouser speak. Representative Butterfield was invited, but is not attending. And a lot of other state officials, the Speaker of the House, Tim Moore, Majority Leader Tom Bell, and some other folks. And then just, again, a lot of folks from our academic community, a lot of folks from our agencies in North Carolina. So really looking forward to be a very, very fruitful day.
So you get an invitation declined from Nancy Pelosi, did you?
I don't think Nancy. I don't think she got one. I don't think she got one.
I got to be a little snarky in the mornings. You know how that is. A couple of things that are on that are very important to the people of Eastern North Carolina. And I spend a lot of time on the water, and I deal with a lot of people who spend a lot more time than I do on the water. One of them, obviously, the inlets. We got to do something about stabilizing the inlets, those shallow draft inlets. I know they're doing something up north a little bit, but down this neck of the woods, we got to do something. We got commercial guys, we got recreational guys who spend millions and millions of dollars every year on being able to navigate those inlets, and either for recreational purposes or commercial purposes. And the other thing is, we got a big algae bloom again here in the waters. Caused by, no doubt, runoff, fertilizer runoff going into our local waters. Yeah.
Well, a lot of this has to do, guys, with everything that facets with the water. I'm working on trying to get our inlet stabilized up in Oregon Inlet and approaching it really more from a flooding perspective. Because if you look at why we flood after these big storms, it's because inland, our friends to the west, don't retain their water well, and you look at non-porous surfaces and some of those things that so much is built up in the triangle area, and it just runs off so much quicker. But if it has nowhere to go, and that means not only rivers, creeks, streams, but inlets, it backs up and it floods people's homes, its businesses, its farmland, et cetera, et cetera. And so the inlets are a very integral part of the entire picture of flooding. And so in a few weeks, actually, I'm taking a tour of all the inlets again with the Army Corps of Engineers to take a look at some of these things. We're constantly dredging. It would be great if we could get some type of permanency to these inlets, just like they have in the northern part. Just having to work with our environmentalist friends to try to find some ground that they can agree upon.
Well, you've got where you are today, you've got a prime example of how well jetties work. At Riceville Beach, at the Masonboro Inlet, they've got jetties on the north side and a jetty on the south side. I've got photos dating back to the 1980s, of how stable that inlet has been. I have had to go from New River Inlet when I've gone offshore, when conditions got pretty bad, try to get back through the inlet. I could not do it. I've had to drive from there 35 miles in the ocean on a rough day, back down to Masonboro Inlet so that I could come in, and I came in at 35 miles per hour through that inlet. No problem. It was very stable. Mm-hmm. That's the difference.
Exactly. Could not agree with you more. Speaking of driving at 35 miles an hour, our friends in this administration from NOAA want to limit your speed to 10 miles an hour.
I know.
10 miles an hour. We talked about this, I think, a few weeks ago.
Yes, we did. Good luck on that one.
Absolutely insane. But just to, get back on point, our inlets are just as important as our inland waterways and creeks, but there'll be time for a full discussion of that. We're going to really concentrate today's meeting on inland flooding.
Okay. When you get ready to talk about the inlets, I'll be glad to give you a photograph that is very, very indicative of what needs to be done.
Well, go ahead and send it on to me. You got my email address.
I do. I will send it to you probably today.
Okay. Great.
What else is going on in the district?
Well, we're just, it's election season in all the districts. We have 14 in North Carolina congressional districts. There are a lot of state House, state Senate members. I was at a nice event last night for Senator Brent Jackson. Mm-hmm. So I think people are really coming out in droves because of what's going on. You look at the economy right now, the average American is spending $5,400 a year more than last year because of inflation. If you look at what's going on with gas prices, and those are not going to change anytime soon. If you look at food, food is going up, and also very subtly, I found this out from Panera Bread and the last couple of other places, you're seeing portion sizes decrease.
Yep.
Now, that may not be a bad thing, but you're seeing some of the cutbacks that we have to try to keep things, where folks can afford it. But in so many other different ways, because of this Biden economy and the things that he's been doing, essentially fighting the Federal Reserve, we're in a recession, whether he agrees it or not, and very well may be getting in a worse recession because I think they're going to raise interest rates even higher. So the economy is going to be very bumpy for the next several years.
You mentioned subtle increases in prices or whatever, which amounts to subtle increases in prices. I use a shaving cream. I'm still one of those guys with a razor. So I use a shaving cream, and the last can I bought before this current one, I still got both of them. But as I approach the end of that can, I go get another one, right? Well, the same brand, same price, but about 15 cents more, was 1/3 less quantity in that can.
Oh, wow. Well,
Duh. Folks, they're sneaking one by you, or trying to.
Yeah. Well, you can't regret what they say. You can't fight them because they're just trying to keep things as affordable as possible. But all the resources, all your ingredients, look at what our farmers are going through. My gosh,
poor guys.
The cost of fertilizer, the cost of fuel. Very, very challenging. Very challenging.
Same thing for the watermen out there. We used to pay $8 or $10 for a bushel of oysters. This last year it was $85. I don't know what it's going to be this year.
Wow.
Duh.
Difficult time. Difficult time.
Very, very definitely. And I appreciate what the restaurants and I appreciate what the fishermen, the professional guys are doing, and the farmers. My God, they're going through a lot, and it costs them more. And they've taken a risk too. The fishermen, anglers out there, the professional guys who are trying to furnish local seafood. Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing what they're going through. Well, anyway, Dr. Murphy, thank you for your time. And I don't even want to wish you good luck because you don't need it today.
Well, I think we're looking forward to it.
I am too.
My team has done a fantastic job in preparing everything. And so hopefully folks online will join us too. So looking forward to it.
We've got it out there. That's Greg Murphy. Okay, do it again. I wrote it down.
GregMurphy.house.gov.
There you go. That was it. Go check on it, and he'll be live at 9 a.m. That's 0900 for some of you guys.
That's right.
All right. Doctor, thank you.
All right. Take care. Thank you.
You too. Dr. Greg Murphy, 3rd District Representative here, taking care of us here in Eastern North Carolina.
Well, that is an important thing they're down there doing with the water.
Major importance.
That's a very big deal.
They're in a good location for it too.
And I think some people may not understand the significance or the importance of what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, if you lived here in 2018, there's a little witch came through called Florence.
Yep.
Left behind so much destruction. And it wasn't because of the ocean. It wasn't because the ocean was flooding. It wasn't even because of all the winds. It was because of the inland flooding. 30 plus inches of rain here in Eastern North Carolina. Some places had as much as 36 inches of rain. That all built up.
It did.
There's no place for it to go. I mean, if we had 36 inches of rain and the only place it hit was right here on the coast, you wouldn't even notice it. Really?
Yeah.
Seriously. If it was right over the beaches, that ocean can hold a lot more water.
Yeah.
It would not even bring the tide up in the ocean. But all that runoff from way inland, and it all centered, and then it starts coming down.
Coming down this way.
And you got ditches that people are not taking care of. The homeowners, nor the county, nor the state, we're not taking care of those ditches. I understand they've gotten a renewed effort to take care of them. And they clog up. They got dams that beavers have built. You've got uh, old tree limbs that fall. They just clog it up.
And creeks
And
filling up.
creeks
And
fill up,
yeah.
and then the water rises into your backyards and
And then
into
it,
your houses
yep,
and even up to the second floor of your home if you got a two-story home.
correct.
We got a prime example of that
We
right
do.
here.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, yes, thanks to Congressman Rouser and Dr. Murphy for hosting this event. It's important. It's very important.
And I think it also, to some level, highlight the importance of people just maintaining their properties to begin with,
Absolutely, yeah.
like roofs. Like, we had rain. My daughter, the wind didn't peel her roof back, but it peeled back enough or blew off or whatever,
shingles.
enough shingles where her entire ceiling collapsed.
Uh-huh.
Water poured in her house.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and we had to gut it, basically.
Uh-huh.
It's shocking to me how much damage water can do very quickly, even like from rain. It wasn't like floodwaters came into her house. Her house is kind of up on the hill, but the rain and wind took care of that.
Yep. It's kind of rough.
And some
It
people
can be
still
very
have
rough.
tarps on their roofs, Rayford.
I've
I've
noticed.
seen some. There's a couple in my daughter's neighborhood, and she lives in Bryn Mawr that
That's
still
4
have
years
it.
old.
Yes, it's very sad. Very sad.
It is very. We got lucky. One of our houses that we owned at the time, the adjuster came in. He looked at it very quickly, took some photos, climbed over the roof, and immediately ordered repairs. And we were lucky enough to have
Same.
somebody on hand to be able to take care of it.
My daughter was back in her house by Christmas, right before,
Well,
like a week and a half before Christmas,
we-
she got
we-
back in there.
Our folks didn't even have to get out of the house,
Yeah,
so
oh,
that was
yeah,
good.
no,
That's how fast the team moved.
They had nothing. I mean, they lost a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And mold. I didn't.
Oh my
I
Lord.
learned a lot about mold.
I'm sure you
then.
have. Your doctor says that you should have the results in soon.
Yeah, but that's a whole separate issue. Yeah, but I mean, in terms
Actually,
of
it's related.
how quickly the mold went into her house, because it was hot, right after
Oh, of
Florence.
course.
Yeah, couldn't have power because everything was
There
wet
was
and
nothing.
waterlogged,
Yep.
and it was nothing. I mean, everything just collapsed. So, yeah, mold grows fast, and I think it's partly because of where we live down here too.
It is because you got mold even if you don't have intrusion of water.
Yeah.
It's we've got dehumidifiers throughout our house. Okay, I got one in my bathroom.
I need
Small
to get one of those because
and they work well.
you get a little bit of water anywhere in your house, you're going to have mold.
Well,
Yeah.
in the place with the highest humidity is your bathroom.
I never thought about that. You're right.
You take a shower.
Yeah.
You don't take a shower in cold water, do you?
Heck no. I
Okay, there
scald
you
it.
go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, 910-333-0139. That's our number. You want to chat this morning? You feel free. We're wide open. And I have zero prepared for
Well, I've got
today.
some stuff pulled up.
I haven't.
We got another big drug bust in Texas, which is alarming.
I think we had a pretty big one here somewhere in Onslow County.
We did.
But they got a bunch of fentanyl.
Yes.
And some other dope.
Fentanyl in Texas.
I don't have the details
I
on
can
it.
pull it up because I've got it over here. I'll do it during the
Excellent.
break.
You do that. It's
Yeah.
all on you.
Yeah.
You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. And don't go too far from your radio because we'll be right back. And good morning for those just joining us. I'm Rayford Brown, and
I'm Kelly now.
welcome back to the show, or welcome to the show. We're going to take a quick break here before we do the weather. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm good, darling. How are you?
I'm hanging in here, cuz. What's going on?
Well, I wanted to call in and update you on the continuing saga of mine and Terry's fight for the caregiver. We got the final call yesterday morning,
And
well, it is a Medicaid program, so they said, and I knew that. And
duh.
Terry doesn't qualify for Medicaid,
Really?
and that the only way that he would be able to have a paid caregiver is by meeting a deductible. And then we could go through the CAPS program. And I just saw y'all on TV, so I know you're sitting down.
Yeah.
Our deductible would be $11,574 every 6 months. And I laughed hysterically at the poor lady.
You can get a caregiver for $20,000 year round.
And she said, ma'am, and I was just laughing. And she said, well, now you can break that down to $1,929 a month. And I was just still laughing. I mean, Terry come creeping down from the living room in his wheelchair, and he looked at me like, what are you doing? Because he knew who I was talking to.
Oh, Lord.
And then he hears me tell her, I said, ma'am, I said, I'm assuming you don't realize that is more than my husband makes. We don't make that much money. He doesn't make that much. And, you know, of course, they told me that it's a blame game. You know, they told me that, well, the elected officials, the politicians, they really don't know the ins and outs of all of it. So they tell people things that they really don't know. And I said, well, I talked to a lady in Raleigh at the CAPS program, into which they informed me, well, you know, since Raleigh got involved in it, they give people a lot of false promises. They don't fully explain to them everything that has to be done, as in the amount of deductibles and this, that, and the other. And I told her to have a blessed day and to go help somebody
That is Southern
else.
for we know what.
Yeah, well, that's what I told her, to have a blessed day in that way, not in the way that normally I try and be nice and sweet about it. Tell somebody to have a blessed day. Hers wasn't, but I think she got the point.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Bless her heart.
made me a little Facebook video yesterday and put it on there. I've had close to 50 shares.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to, never really been one, you know, if you were in our tight little close circle, you knew. And if you didn't, you didn't. Well, I'm just tired of it, and I'm ready to put it out there.
There you
And
go.
I want somebody to tell me, you know, and it's like I said on the video, you can pull it up and watch it. I said, I know that Terry and I've come to the realization we're not one getting help. That's just, we're not, but maybe something can change for the people that's going to fall in our shoes afterwards.
Well, you
because
know,
something needs to be done.
For those who are newcomers to the show, we have some from time to time. Terry and Jennifer they live here in Jacksonville pretty much all their lives. They're both were employed, gainfully employed, doing a great job until a few years ago when Terry had one of those things called a stroke. Now he's permanently disabled. That's all there is to it. He was never in the military. He's not a veteran. Doesn't qualify for any federal benefits like that. He is one of the majority of the people in this country, except that he had a stroke. Jennifer, he's also has to have around the clock attendance, caregiver. So Jennifer had to quit her job so she could help him, so she could take care of him. This is ridiculous in this country when we're giving billions of dollars away all over the freaking world and we can't take care of our own. This is wrong, folks. Charity begins at home. It does not begin in Haiti. It does not begin in Venezuela. It does not begin in Morocco. You know, we give money to Morocco
For what?
because they asked for it.
But see, this is what I've been complaining about to people. If you've listened to me on this show more than one time, you know, one of my big complaints I have with our legislators, and not locally, because let me just be clear about this: the county commissioners and the
Their
city
hands are
council,
tied.
they have no dog in this fight. This is on a state and federal level.
Yep.
So it would start with our state representatives and go into our federal, like Dr. Murphy, Tom Tillis, whoever else represents us federally. This is an issue where I have said repeatedly, because I have many clients who I see that are Medicare clients. I know what their monthly check is. Usually
It ain't
average between
much.
$1,200 and $1,300 a month for the most
For
part.
Social Security. Yep.
They don't qualify for a lot of food stamps. I have one client that's disabled, and he gets $12 a month in food stamps, which is oh my
Ridiculous.
God, it makes me mad.
Well, that's what they
Take a
were
deep breath.
offering
Yeah,
Jennifer.
yeah. It's
Mhm.
this. If you are
Exactly.
disabled and you get disability, it ought to be 1,000,000% automatic that you automatically get between $200 and $300 a month in food stamps. Bottom line, bar none.
Yep.
Okay, that should be automatic, and I think that Congress, and it's going to take Congress to do this. It's going to
We
have to
don't
go in,
have anybody
change
with a backbone in
that.
Congress.
Well, then this is what. Look, we're all voters.
Uh-huh.
Okay, start holding these people's feet to the fire. Call Congressman Murphy's office. Call Tom Tillis' office, and whatever people we have.
Oh,
Call
I
George
have.
Cleveland and them. Call them and say,
She's done it.
But I don't get to talk to them. I get a little congressional aide that I make mad when I tell him, yeah, but if I rolled up my pant legs, went down there and walked across that river, I'd have all kinds of programs handed to me.
Yep.
well, then
All
I
kinds of
think
benefits.
it needs to
And
go.
I had a social worker tell me that the lady that from Onslow that was so nice to me, little social worker, because I talked to there was a representative for each one of the little steps I had to take. And the social worker told me, she said, Miss Blizzard, I am so sorry, but the system is broken.
Yep.
She said, for the working poor is what she called it. And I liked that phrase.
That's
I did.
accurate.
She said, for the working poor, there is absolutely no help and the system is broken. And she told me, she said, I hope you can. And I told her, I said, I will talk to anybody if I can't do anything other than being an advocate that this doesn't happen to somebody else. Because this is it. The elected officials, the big ones, the senators, the congressmen,
Yep.
all of those, they don't have anyone in their little circle, in their family, that's had to deal with this. If they did, they would make changes. Because this is a state thing. It's a North Carolina thing. It's not a federal.
But it's
The
based on federal
caregiver
law.
is-
It's based
all of
upon federal
that
law and
is-
federal funds that come
Yeah.
to the
State to
states.
state to state.
But
But, I
the
mean, each
funding
state
is federally
is
mandated.
different. Right. But it's up to the state on what they're going to do with it.
Mhm.
And that they just, I don't know.
Well, I think,
But I
let me
just
tell you what I
wanted
think
to
it's
tell
going to
you
take.
that.
It's going to take someone going in front of Congress to one of, where they have those hearings,
Yeah.
testifying. That stuff gets results.
Maybe
Jennifer
Jennifer and Terry, she could wheel Terry in.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would.
I know
You
would.
better believe. I would.
If we can get you there, I will go with you.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I guarantee you, I can pull together a group of people to go. We just find the right committee to go testify in Congress.
Yep.
But but this is what I'm saying. Let me tell you. Look, it's political season. Look at any of the politicians, and I will say even locally, how all of a sudden they want to listen. They're available. They make promises. We're going to do this and this. Okay, you start threatening these people with not being reelected, and all of a sudden they start paying attention and jumping through hoops. Imagine that. I say, as citizens, we have to start holding these people accountable and holding their feet to the fire. Period. And that's only way you're going to get things done. And if this is I'm telling you right now, I know this is a big enough issue where more attention needs to be paid to it. And I think if they realize how many people are in support of something, they're going to do what they can do because they want to be reelected. And, and it's sad to say, but you have to, I think if we don't start making these elected officials accountable for what they're either doing or not doing, nothing is going to change.
Well, let me just throw a little salt into your wound here. I know it's a state issue, state issue, but there's federally mandated, and the money comes from the feds, right?
Correct.
Now, last week, I don't know whether you saw the pictures or not, from Paris with a number of our legislators who were flown over there. On our dime, and they were caught on pictures and video, having a great champagne brunch.
No, I didn't see that.
They drank more champagne, and you can rest assured it wasn't the $1.98 bottle.
Sure it wasn't.
They drank more champagne at our expense, than it would cost to take care of your caregiver for a year in that one sitting.
Oh yeah.
But here's my issue. Okay, another issue that I have. Okay,
we got lots of issues.
but once again, I know families of that are getting $500-600 a month in food stamps. And let me say this right off the bat. Okay, these are able-bodied people who are not working. Okay, because they're getting so much money because they got so many kids. Having kids should not be your job. Okay,
I want to tell you, but I work in a grocery store.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I know how many people come through with their food stamps and would buy $250, $300 worth of groceries and still have an $800, $900 balance.
Yep. And some people sell their food stamps.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I know.
For drugs or whatever.
Absolutely nothing wrong with them. I also know the ones that came through that had to wait and come after school got out so their elementary age child could interpret for them because they could not understand that the cashier was telling them to swipe their EBT card.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't speak English.
Oh,
but they were getting all this money. The system is broken.
Back in the day.
System is
Back in the day when I was going on raids with ALD, you know what ALD is? Alcohol Law Enforcement. Right? They raid places called shot houses. We call them all sorts of things. There are illegal outlets. They go buy alcohol at the regular price that consumers can buy it, not at the liquor by the drink prices that the restaurants, the licensed outlets can serve it, right? And then they were charging in those days $2 a shot, typical $2 a shot. But they were also have guys come in there with food stamps, tear them out, exchange it. They would give them $4 worth of food stamps for one shot of illegal liquor. Okay. Then, well, how do they get their money back for a $4 food stamp? Because there are grocery stores, and they had one in particular in Wilmington, that they would take that $4 food stamp to the grocery store, and the grocer would give them $3 for it. $3 for it. The grocer would they were doing it illegally. They would give them $3 for it. That way, the grocer made $1. The illegal outlet made an extra $1 on top of what they normally would get for a shot of liquor. That was a fact. We did it. I was there. I watched it happen.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that, it's never going to be fixed until people start complaining.
Yeah.
Until people start making people accountable.
Yeah.
And this is going to involve not, sitting around holding hands saying kumbaya, but this is going to be, going to your elected official and say, if you want to be reelected, what are you doing for me? Because I think as citizens, we have gotten too complacent. We have stopped, making demands. This is how this country was founded. Look at the Boston Tea Party. It got results. Now, I'm not saying go that extreme. I'm just
Why?
making a statement. Well, I'm just saying.
Don't ruin the rivers. Don't go
Yeah.
throwing stuff in a
Yeah.
river. But
Yes.
unless it's people.
Well, I can
Swim
tell
with the
y'all,
gators.
put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
Yeah. Because
I will tell anybody my story that will listen to me.
it's got
So,
to be changed. And if we do not start making the people that we elected accountable, then nothing is going to change. And it's going to take one person. It may start out as being unpopular, but I'm going to tell you right now, I know for a fact with something like this, with people with disability not being able to get food stamps, you will see a bunch of people behind you, bottom line, because this is a very widespread problem. I think it is going to involve some change. And here's the other thing. If this woman's being accurate and the correct information is not being given out to Raleigh, then somebody needs to be going to Raleigh, as in George Cleveland, Phil Shepard, and Mike Lazar, and talk to these people that are running the DHHS up in Raleigh, and make sure maybe they need to have some staff training as well. Once again,
and we all know a congressman that said on the air, well, yes, I know 100% for sure that there's a caregiver program.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is.
But
do you know 100% of what all you have to do to be into that program? No. And it's real easy for these elected officials just to, oh, yeah, there is, and have a nice day. I've done my job. And there's not. And the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. Trust me, I found that out.
there's an election coming up on the 8th of November. Is that the date? 8th, right? Yep, the 8th of November. And the people all across this country, we have exactly 3 weeks and 1 day before that election.
but I also think, yes, but here's the
4
other thing,
weeks and 1
Rayford.
day, I guess.
When you're talking to these elected officials, don't let them say, well, I'll get back to you. When? Pin them down. When are you going to get back to me? Give me a date. Give me a timetable and hold them to it. If you don't hear from them, call them back. Go see them. You can go up to D.C. I've done it.
You can
and go in the
Greenville.
office of your elected official. I've done it. You can actually go up there and meet with them.
Yeah, you can.
Make them, hold them accountable. And I'd even go so far as to record the conversation. I certainly would.
Always.
And I would tell them I'm recording, just so you know, because I'm going to make you accountable, period. But that goes, to our local representatives for the state here as well.
Absolutely.
Hold them feet to the fire. If you're not doing the will of what the people want, then you don't need to be there. Bottom line.
Well, I will tell you, my heart breaks for people that you see all across this world that we live in. But before the United States of America needs to go start helping all of them, they need to help the ones. You had a caller call in. He calls in all the time, Steve.
Yeah.
And he made the comment one morning, and I started to call, and I didn't. But he made the comment one morning, until you have looked into their eyes and see how broken they are. They're coming into this country. And I wanted to call and say, buddy, you need to look into the eyes of the good old people in the U.S. of A. that are struggling. It needs to start here.
Yep.
And then let's help them, and let's help them the right way. Come over here the right way. Do it the right way. And it's just that I reckon I'll end on that. I have vented enough. I wanted to call and let you know. I reckon, that's the next chapter in this 5.5-year saga that we've been dealing with. But, I just want to let you know what was going on. And I will remind you on another note, the brain health is Monday, the 17th. At Premier Nursing and Rehab for the Alzheimer's, so don't forget that.
Yep.
And I guess I will see you over there because we're planning on going.
Okay, sounds like a winner. Thank you.
All right, honey. Y'all have a great day.
You too,
Have a blessed
Yeah, from in the right way. Absolutely. Thank you,
in the
Jennifer.
right way.
All right.
All right, honey. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. If you're a boater or a fisherman, perhaps both, you not only need a good place to take care of your needs, you need a friend. That's why Tideline Marine is your one-stop shop for your boating and fishing needs. With tackle recommended by the professional guides in the area, with a team of professional technicians who are dedicated to ensuring your boats are ready when you want them, Tideline Marine family is waiting to help you with your needs and desires. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street, on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Winds today out of the east, 5 to 10, seas 2 to 3, dominant period 6 seconds, sounds and rivers only a light chop. So winds out of the south tomorrow, 15 to 20, with occasional gust to 25, seas 2 to 4 feet, and dominant period 5 seconds. And on Friday, northerly winds 10 to 15, seas 2 to 4 feet.
Today it's mostly sunny, high of 77. Tonight, cloudy, low of 64. Tomorrow in the morning and before 2 o'clock, it's going to rain, and we may even have a thunderstorm. After that, it will be cloudy and then possibly even becoming sunny late afternoon with a high of 78. It will also be a little gusty tomorrow with gusts as high as 18 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, cloudy, low of 55. And on Friday, sunny, high of 74.
You're live and local Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. We'll be right back. And we're back here for just a minute before we have to take another break. Last night there was a public hearing scheduled. I don't know what whether it actually happened or not. Possible, this is in Holly Ridge, possible approval of a proposed text amendment of the Holly Ridge zoning ordinance to amend section yada, yada, yada to set a minimum area of 100 acres for outdoor firing ranges and section yada, yada, yada to remove the requirement for special use permits for outdoor firing ranges within the rural agricultural zoning district. That was the recommendation. Apparently, there's a gentleman who looks like not in the city limits of Holly Ridge, has gone so far as to either purchase land or planning on, or at least he's made the statement that he's planning on building an outdoor range outside the town limits, outside of their extraterritorial jurisdiction, which I say is still not legal for them to have one anymore, because they should not be able to control people outside the city limits who can't vote for them.
Right.
I mean, that's just ridiculous.
I agree with that.
So anyway, this gentleman apparently has requested this move, a text amendment of the Holly Ridge zoning ordinance
What's a text amendment?
to change it so that it would say you got to have at least 100 acres of land if you intend to put a firing range. Now, how many places are there in Holly Ridge in the city limits that have 100 acres inside the city limits?
I would say 0.
There's something.
Is Holly Ridge even 100 acres? I
No.
mean, let's be real.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
it is.
Okay. Is it? Okay. Are we sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I didn't hear about this. I don't know.
well, I heard about it yesterday afternoon late.
But we need to find
I
out.
talked to Councilman Greg Hines last night,
Mhm.
and he said, "Yeah, that's on the agenda." I don't know whether they went through it. He said it's a proposed amendment. And I said, Why does this gentleman have a dog in this fight?" He said, "Well, anybody can propose a change in a text amendment. You could, if you wanted to, you could propose a text amendment." And I facetiously said, I said, "Well, then I propose that the town of Holly Ridge dig a ditch from the intercoastal waterway all the way to Holly Ridge so that I can get my boat there and I don't have to come by car." That was a facetious moment, of course, in
I
my
like
time.
it.
But anybody can propose one. So I'm awaiting the outcome of last night's hearing,
Mhm.
if they indeed went through with it. So I don't know. And I'm trying to figure out what's this guy outside the town limits of Holly Ridge and outside their ETJ. What's he thinking about here?
Well, he must have an agenda.
Well,
My question is, what's his
here's
agenda?
my thought.
Uh-huh.
Then he's going to say, or he could say, I would like to, for this town to annex my property. And they'll might say, yeah, that's a good idea, because then we can control what goes on there. But when you annex a place, you also have to provide water, sewer, and fire service and police service and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And then he can say, I don't really want to build an outdoor gun range anyway. I'm going to start a subdivision. Y'all going to have to furnish stuff to it. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME, and we'll be right back. All right. Good morning. Welcome back. Just telling Kelly about my medical visit yesterday,
Mhm.
and I'll just give it up. Whatever HIPAA, I don't care. Couple of 3 months ago, 4 months ago, um, the young lady that I see, FMP,
Mhm.
Regina Yost,
Mhm.
my one of my newest bestest friends.
Greatest human ever
Our
alive. She's
concierge.
literally saved my life.
She's our concierge because Robbie
had-
goes to her now.
Yeah, I had
Kelly,
Rayford. I got everybody. I've
we're-
been seeing her for years, and I
Yeah.
turned Rayford on, Lee, Robbie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And who knows who else.
I've sent a lot of people to her. She is the greatest.
She's
the greatest medical professional in Onslow County, bar none. And I will fight you if you tell me I'm wrong, because this woman has literally
fight
saved my
you.
life. Yeah.
Anyway, with the pains that I've got, she had
Mhm.
she gave me some samples of some stuff to try. It's a time release prednisone, right?
Yeah.
A very small dose.
And it worked wonders for
two-
you.
2 milligrams.
Yeah.
What it does, you take it at bedtime, and that
Mhm.
way it starts going into action
Mhm.
before you get up in the morning. So
Correct.
you don't
Yeah.
get up with the intense pain that I get up with every morning.
Correct. Yeah. And it was working for
It
you
was
well.
great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you ran out of the samples.
Well, she
Well,
gave her, she gave
yeah.
a prescription.
Yeah.
After 2 or 3 weeks,
Mhm.
she wrote a prescription,
Yeah.
and my insurance provider,
Said nope.
bless her heart, said
Yeah.
no, it's not on the approved list.
Yeah.
Well, guess what is?
Mm-hmm.
2.5 milligrams of prednisone does not time release.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to take it, so that by 5 o'clock in the morning, when I have to get out of bed, it's working.
It's just so dumb.
Really?
It's just so dumb.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Makes you really want to just slap somebody, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting more and more like that pretty much every day of the week.
Mm-hmm. Makes no sense.
You ever been kicked out of places?
Yes.
You've been barred from places?
No.
Really?
Not that I know of.
I mean, but you've been kicked out of places.
Yes.
Attitude or what?
Defending someone.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
Ever been kicked out of a funeral or a celebration of life or?
No.
Well, see, I got one up on you.
I know you have.
I've been.
It makes me mad.
Makes me sick.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so much for that. Let's take a break, and then we'll go back to whatever's going on in the rest of the world.
We got to talk about some drug busts.
Yeah, we got a couple.
Local and national.
Yeah, we got a couple.
Yeah.
We got a real significant one locally.
We got two.
Yep. So we'll talk about that when we come back. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 AM, WSME. I need to go back some of those old days of yesteryear. That'd be fun. We're back, and it's 8 o'clock. Coming up in a few minutes, we're waiting for a call from Dr. Rose. She'll be checking in with us, and we'll see what's going on across the state, and if she's got any national news relating to health or not. But we got, first of all, let's go to this a man and a woman. Were they husband and wife? I'm not sure. Anyway, there was a call that the sheriff's office responded to. And when they got there, they smelled dope. They smelled marijuana, right? And we'll take a phone call first. Good morning. Who's this?
Hey, this is Steve.
Hey,
How y'all
Steve.
doing this
How are
morning?
you?
I'm doing pretty good. Hope y'all are too.
Yeah, we're waiting for a call from our Dr. Rose. So go ahead.
I got you. I was gonna say I'll make it quick. I heard the lady before mention my name, and I just wanted to let her know that her and her husband Terry, ever since she came on that show, have been on my mind and in my heart.
Yeah.
And I feel for them greatly as well. I've reached out to some folks I knew, trying to see if they was something I could do, and I ain't had no luck either. But my heart goes out to them. It's a bureaucracy, and as far as my comment, if it made her feel bad in any way, I apologize for that. But I would say that she should probably understand as much as anybody how difficult it is to deal with the bureaucracy that is the United States sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And so for those people that I was commenting on, I would think that, she would have a little bit of understanding of how difficult it can be to do things the right way sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, like I say, ever since she came on that day, she came on y'all's show and sat down at that table and told her story. She's been in my heart and mind, and I hope something comes out positive for them and they can work something out, because I agree, it don't make no sense.
She does not have a mean bone in her body. I can tell you that right now. She's just
and I get that from her. I do. I get that from her. That her, she's got a good heart, and but I wanted to call in and say that my heart goes out to you, ma'am, and I hope things work out for you.
Yeah. Her comment was in reference to you is that, there are programs in place to do things legally to get into this country. There is no program in place to help people in her situation in this country. There's no program in place.
I agree. There's things that are broken, and we should just look at them with common sense and fix them.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But our elected leaders just don't seem to want to apply common sense to these situations. And then some people are electing people that.
You know whose fault that is?
It's the people for electing him.
You,
the voters.
Me.
Yeah.
It's our fault.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, not to get off on a side subject, but imagine somebody like Herschel Walker. What are they going to bring to the Senate to help solve any of these problems?
I don't have a clue.
And I'm sure there's people on both sides you could call out for the same thing.
Absolutely.
But that they're not doing a good job, and just to replace them with somebody who has no idea what they're doing, that can't be the answer. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have an answer for it either, but like I say,
I say replace them with somebody that
her
has
story
a solution.
touches me more than probably any other story that y'all had. I got to say, because it hits home, and I know that it's not, it's not just her. If she's having this problem, there's probably lots of people that are experiencing this problem.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Steve, thanks for calling in, sir.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I was
You're welcome.
kind of hoping you would.
Thank you, guys.
Yep.
All right, you take
Y'all
care.
have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Dr. Rosemary Stein, good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I am doing well. Good morning.
What's going on in your world, medical world?
I think illnesses have come down a little bit, but we're getting the flu.
Yeah, we are.
And lots of, and some RSV as well. So that's that virus that makes little ones very sick and very congested.
Oh boy.
So we're getting both of those a little bit on the early side. I've always thought that this is going to be a difficult year for our young ones for illness. Mm-hmm. And I'm afraid that's a sign that might be so.
So let's work on prevention. Should parents be doing right now to make sure? I'm going to tell you the first thing: start out with a good healthy breakfast in the morning and a good night's sleep leading up to it, and go from there.
I agree with you. An unsupervised breakfast is just like no breakfast at all. So sending our kids over to school and hoping that they get a good breakfast over there. I always call it the 20 little monkeys with a monkey watcher.
There you go.
There's no way that she is going to be able to get breakfast into all of the kids that she has to supervise for breakfast. So you're lucky if you get a bite or two. If they're the scrawny ones, if they're The rather chubby ones are going to eat everything off of everybody else's plate that they like. Neither one of the two is going to be nutritious and good for the kid. So do yourself some favors and make sure that you sit down with your kids. Plus, it gives them a good state of mind. But you're right, that's it. Sleep on time and making sure your kid is rested. I mean, those two things just by themselves will give your kids a healthy amount of health to start with.
Dr. Rose, I have a question. Have you seen a rise in incidences this season of like ragweed and allergies?
A lot of kids have had before, and now this is the first time, and it's gone from 0 to 100 on the allergen scale. So yes, it's a strange year in many ways, and I think that a lot of parents are sending the kids over to school and hoping that they don't get caught, because we get a lot of parents who call us in for an appointment and they say, well, I guess I have to pick up my kid from school. And it's like, duh, your kid was running a fever, you still sent them to school. So that's another issue to talk about. But yes, lots of allergies, lots of ragweed is what we have during this time, and with the falling leaves and the drying factor on them.
Yeah, because we've seen it down here. There's a lot of like ragweed allergies going around right now, which I was told that is a little unusual for this time of year. The amount.
Yeah, it's been fairly dry recently,
Yeah.
and all of this stuff is coming down, and it's kind of sticking on. It's kind of like pollen this time, but it's the fall version of the spring pollen. So.
That's correct.
Even I'm congested. I found myself this morning with having to clear my throat a lot. Stuff is just
yeah.
It does seem to, when the ragweed season does seem to cause a thicker phlegm, where the pollen is usually a lot runnier.
Yep.
The thicker phlegm will tend more to cause like a sinus infection and upper respiratory infections in children. So just be aware of that.
Okay, so prevention, other than a good breakfast and a good night's sleep the night before, what can parents do for their kids?
If you pack a lunch for them, at least they're not touching everything that everybody else touches, hopefully, or a little bit less. So that's another big thing for me is I ask the parents, can you pack a lunch together in the evenings? If they're the little ones, if they're the big ones, get up a little earlier and make sure you pack a lunch. There are less people touching your stuff, so that if your neighbor is sick, you're less likely to get sick. That's the least of it. Obviously, the nutritious reasons are the other reasons for it, but that's a good thing. Make sure check your kid's backpack to make sure he's got a sanitizer, and remind him to use it when he's touched other surfaces. Make sure your kid gets his multivitamins with vitamin C and vitamin D. They've been proven to decrease the risk of illness. Lots of water, because water is what washes all this gunk out, and kids just don't drink water. We do urine analysis in the office sometimes for various reasons. It is amazing that these kids are walking around, and I think they're peeing little blocks sometimes. So make sure that that kids are drinking plenty of water. They should be drinking maybe 4 bottles of water a day, which seems amazing, especially for a kid. But if you remind them, they'll make that a habit.
Yeah.
These are just basic things, and a lot of kids are not doing any of this, which all makes them more prone to illness, especially at school when there are more kids sick.
And I would say too, when you were talking about parents having to pack lunches for kids, parents, grandparents, relatives, neighbors, whoever's packing a lunch, pack something the kid's actually going to eat.
Yes.
because all that's going to happen if you pack something that you want him to eat, but little Johnny doesn't eat that. A, he's going to be hungry, or B, he's going to eat off someone else's plate, or
trade.
they'll trade. So, make sure parents, yes, packing lunch is amazing, awesome, and my grandson's a packer. But you got to pack what your kid's actually going to eat, or you're defeating the purpose of packing.
And if you do it together with the kids, you sort of explain, this is healthy, so eat that one first, so you get that done with. And here's your treat at the end. They'll remember that, and they'll have mom, dad, grandma's voice in their head as they're eating. It's not just a meal that someone packed for them. It has a significance to it. Well, when I was a kid, every day I had an apple. So just remember, I'm going to put some apples in there so you remember that your mom loves you. It just means so much more.
Yeah.
And so, and if you do it together, it's not like you're the kid's housekeeper or servant, and you're just doing it for them. You're doing it together, and it has a meaning.
You mentioned apples. One little trick there, if the kid doesn't like apples necessarily, but you give them the apple in slices, and put a little container of peanut butter in the lunch, and tell them, try this one time. Put a little peanut butter on your apple.
Well, the problem with that is if you got kids with peanut allergy, you're going.
Well, you don't do it if you know the kid has a peanut.
Well, I mean, but if the kid sat next to him could have a problem with that.
Well, then go find a shade tree
But
somewhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Stay there by yourself.
Some classrooms will not allow peanuts in the classroom.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my.
For that reason. Yeah.
I'll be in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, you can dunk the apple in other things. I mean, a little bit of caramel. There are other things that also
honey
makes the apple more appetizing. Yes, exactly.
A little honey.
And so be creative in making these lunches. Sometimes we all get into a bit of a rut, but and ask the kid, what would you like to see in your lunch box?
Yep.
And it's once in a while to throw a little pack of Skittles in there and say, once you're done with everything, here's a teeny weeny, one of those little mini packs. I'm not a huge proponent of candy, but once in a while, make it fun. Put a little note in there. Remind your kid how much you're thinking about them. That kind of stuff goes a long way to the kid having an identity and feeling good at school, and that also decreases illness.
Yeah, well, that would be good. I like your ideas. Be a little creative in what you're doing and thinking. That works for me. I like that.
Thank you.
And we all need to be a little bit more creative in pretty much our daily lives, I think, from time to time. Just need to go out, venture out.
Yeah.
Check things out.
Yep.
See what we can do.
That's right. Especially with our kids. I mean, they could use a little spice. Some of these kids, they come in and they run over and hug us. It just may seem that that's the nice part of their day. So parents just make it a little bit fun. I know we're indulgent sometimes and things aren't so good and gas prices are high, but once in a while, make sure that you do a little something special. You don't want to spoil. I'm not asking for the kids necessarily to be spoiled, but just a little spice in life.
Yeah.
To give your kids is a really good thing. You'll create a memory, and they'll smile, and they'll figure out that life isn't so bad.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Rose, thank you as always.
You're very welcome. Love speaking with you guys.
Yeah, I love it.
We'll see you next week.
See you next Wednesday. You're live and local, Real Talk, Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m., WSME. Tropical depression has formed, and it's now become a tropical storm. It's Carl with a K. You're live and local, Real Talk. We'll be right back. Well, that tropical disturbance of yesterday is now a tropical storm, and it's building and building. It's got 45-mile-per-hour sustained winds. It's on currently a west-northwesterly course. It's in the Bay of Campeche there, just off of southern part of Mexico, northwestern part of Nicaragua, Honduras, that area.
Yeah.
Okay. The west-northwesterly course, until I looked at the long-range
Yeah.
west-northwesterly course, would have taken it into northeastern Mexico, likely, or southern Texas, southeastern Texas.
But not anymore.
That course, look at even by tomorrow morning, it's going to turn.
Going to do a loop-de-loop.
It's going to go right back south,
Mm-hmm.
almost due southwesterly, and going to come into the southeastern part of Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Wonder how many caravans of illegals are down there. They're going to be wearing a lot of wet Biden T-shirts, I guess, huh? So that's
I've
a
never
possibility.
seen it do that. We were looking
That's
on the map.
weird.
That is wild.
It's not going to develop much. The winds are, like I say, about 40, 45 miles per hour about 1 o'clock this morning. They're anticipated to get up to, over the next day or so, up to 50 miles per hour. And then it's going to make a landfall sometime it's not moving very fast.
Mm-hmm.
That's always generally a sign that she's getting ready to make a turn somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this turn's going to be almost a 180.
Yeah, it's loop-de-looing out there. That's what's happening.
By 4 days, 96 hours, it will have dissipated completely. So that's what we're looking at.
That's just wild.
That's a weird looking.
Yeah,
deal.
I agree. Yeah.
That's just weird. Anyway, all right. Weather-wise, locally, sponsored by Tideline Marine right here in Jacksonville, of course, every day, twice a day. Tideline is a friend. It's a friend of the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a friend of mine. Should be a good place for you to get to know, and should be a good friend of yours.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Tideline Marine is your one-stop shop for all of your boating and fishing needs. It's nice to shop with friends, number one. That friends take care of you when other people don't. With tackle recommended by the professional guides in the area, also friends of Tideline Marine. With a team of professional technicians who are dedicated to ensuring your boats are ready when you want them. That's one of the reasons they're my friends, because they got a couple of boats down there.
Yes.
My wife's got one. Tideline Marine and Family, waiting to help you with your needs and your wants. Tideline Marine, 159 Old Bridge Street, on the banks of the New River in downtown Jacksonville. Stop by and ask to see Dreamer, too, when you're down there. Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Easterly winds 5 to 10 knots today, seas 2 to 3, dominant period 6 seconds, sounds and rivers a light chop. Winds out of the south tomorrow, 15 to 20, with occasional gusts to 25, seas 2 to 4, dominant period 5 seconds. Northerly winds on Friday, 10 to 15, seas 2 to 4 feet.
Today, mostly sunny, a high of 77. Tonight, cloudy, low of 64. Tomorrow in the morning and up until about 2 o'clock, it's going to rain, and we could even actually have a thunderstorm. After that, it will just be cloudy, and towards the evening, which is odd, it's going to be mostly sunny, high of 78, but still gusty with gusts as high as 18 miles an hour. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, low of 55, and on Friday, sunny, high of 74.
I can take that, not a problem.
Yeah.
It's still shorts weather for me.
Yeah. So before we went and took our phone calls and the breaks and everything, we were talking about
drugs.
A drug situation here in Onslow County, a drug bust, or I don't know if that's what I would call it.
Well, they went out there as a domestic, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when they get in the door, they smell pot. Well, duh.
And they smelled it and found it in plain view.
That becomes probable cause immediately.
So they called the drug enforcement unit, and a search warrant was executed. My, they hit the mother load. And to that, I would say, if you are going to be a drug dealer, you probably shouldn't engage in like domestic incidents. Instead, they're going to get the cops called on you.
Let me tell you, if you're going to be a drug dealer, you're a male, don't trust your wife or your girlfriend. Because once you make them mad, you're going to rat you out. I've seen that happen way too many times. That wasn't the case here. Duh. Just don't make them mad, okay?
So when that search warrant was executed, let's talk about what they found, okay? 2.5 kilos. Now take notice, I said kilos.
That's a little over 5 pounds, y'all.
Of fentanyl, which is, trust me, a fentanyl, that's a lot. A whole lot. 40 pounds of marijuana, 2 rifles, and 3 handguns, and one of the guns was stolen out of Pender County,
Duh.
and $10,000 in currency right there.
And
Yeah, they continued the investigation. They seized a car, and then they checked the bank account, and they've
with
seized,
a search warrant.
Yep, and got an additional $10,000. So Daquan Tyrone Wainwright, who's 25, and London Cheryl Keeb, she's 18. They both live there. They were arrested. Now, Mr. Wainwright's charges were 12 counts of trafficking opium or heroin.
Oh my.
2 counts of trafficking marijuana, 1 count of possession with intent to manufacture, sell, deliver heroin, 1 count of possession with intent to manufacture, sell, deliver marijuana, 1 count of manufacture cocaine, 1 count of manufacture marijuana, 2 counts conspire to sell or deliver heroin, possession of a stolen firearm, possession of a firearm by a felon, and possession of drug paraphernalia. He is in the Onslow County Jail under $1,700,000 secured bond.
Keep him
Yeah, I
all
like
right.
that. Now, she was charged with trafficking opium or heroin, trafficking of marijuana, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, deliver controlled substances, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, deliver marijuana, manufacture marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, and manufacture Schedule II controlled substance. She's in there under a $258,000 secured bond. And they're saying if there's any, thing you need, call Crime Stoppers.
His last name?
His last name is Wainwright, WAINWRIGHT.
First name?
Daquan, DAQUAN. Middle initial T. He's 25. It says he's a felon.
I don't find him listed, and not in North Carolina. It could be a felon elsewhere.
Yeah. And she is London, Kebe is her last name. She's 18.
Yeah, I'm just going to change the spelling on a couple of things here and do a... Oh, okay.
And this took place on Eider Loop Road. I don't know idea where that is. I've never heard of it. Yeah. So, yep. But they've seized bank accounts, car, a lot of things. So
he has not under that name in North Carolina. He has no history. No.
Well, he must have it somewhere because it was firearm by felon.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Somebody with that much weight, I'll guarantee you they're going to have a history anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it gets better. That took place on the 29th of September, which was, about 2 weeks ago on Thursday. Okay. Now, let's move up to October 7th.
Last week.
Yep. Onslow County Sheriff's Office conducted a joint operation with NCIS and the FBI on an individual who was suspected of trafficking illegal narcotics.
That's federal.
So on October 7th, investigators attempted a traffic stop on Andrew Scott Arrowwood. A chase ensued, and he was located and detained on Hubert Boulevard in Hubert. During the search of his vehicle...
Where is he going? You think you're going to try to outrun the cops?
People just do dumb things. So when they searched his car, 43 grams of fentanyl were located and seized. Yep. And they also recovered marijuana and crystal meth that he had thrown out of the vehicle during the chase. He must have been able to reach the fentanyl. So a subsequent search warrant was obtained and conducted, and he lives on Dragonfly Lane in Hubert. Additional fentanyl, methamphetamine, and a gun were located and seized. So he was arrested on
What's
the following.
What's his first name?
His first name is Andrew Arrowwood. He was charged with trafficking opioids by possession, trafficking opioids by transport, possession with intent to manufacture, sell, deliver Schedule I controlled substance, manufacture Schedule I controlled substance, possession of methamphetamine, maintaining a vehicle for controlled substance, simple possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, felony flee to elude, and resist, obstruct, delay law enforcement. Now, he was transported to the detention center under a $250,000 secured bond.
Good.
His first court appearance would have been the 10th. So that was 2 days ago.
Yep.
So we'll see don't know what happened with that guy. But I mean, I'm thinking if NCIS and the FBI can investigate, his charges may end up going to be federal, rolling over into federal charges. And that's a whole different ballgame.
Yep.
So,
no doubt.
Now in Texas, the authorities in Fort Worth were busy, and they seized 28,000 fentanyl pills, 29 pounds of marijuana, and 10 guns. And Melvin Keelogue Jr. and Atomic Green were arrested as they'd been working with an informant who had been buying the fentanyl pills. So I'm wondering if these don't have some kind of ties. But Kilo told the informant that he had 25,000 fentanyl pills he could give him immediately, and he was going to have his girlfriend bring them to him.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
So the surveillance was conducted on him and the girlfriend, and she appeared to give him the pills. So, yeah. And this guy Green was in the car with him when they pulled him over and arrested him. So I don't know how involved he is, but too bad, so sad. And then when they did the search warrant, they discovered, or whatever, something happened. They discovered 25,000 fentanyl pills, 2 handguns, and an AR-15 in the car with them. The apartment search netted 3,000 more fentanyl pills, 29 pounds of marijuana, 7 guns, and $100,000 in cash. And they are facing federal charges for the possession of fentanyl with intent to distribute. And see, people, let's understand something. A federal charge is no get out of jail free card.
No.
You do the time you're sentenced to.
Yeah, there won't be no probationary sentences.
No. So I like it. Get all that mess off the street, because it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
The Florida man was arrested. Cops said he opened fire on a homeless family of 5 who were sleeping in their car at a park in Tampa.
I saw that.
Really? 21-year-old dude faces 6 felony charges following the shooting that unfolded about 4:30 in the morning Wednesday on the 2200 block of North Oregon Avenue. That's last Wednesday, in a parking lot.
And a pregnant woman was hit and shot in the head. Yeah. Did she survive or not survive?
I think she did.
Okay.
The kids, ages 9, 4, and 3, struck in the head, suffered non-life-threatening injuries, recovering in a hospital. The father and the children were unharmed. He shot into the car, but he didn't hit. He hit the mother. I'm like, why? What is your reason for doing something like that? And with the picture, I can see the attitude that he's got, smirk on his face. It just needs to be wiped off. Sharks do a good job of that.
I'm telling you. Yep.
See the picture of the car?
Very sad.
It's riddled with bullet holes.
It is. Very sad. And why? I mean, there's so much hate. And this is what I'm saying. Like, we have got to take care of our own citizens. There's no reason a family of 5 should be having to sleep in their car. But it happens here in Onslow, too.
It does. On a regular basis.
Onslow County Schools have identified, there's at least 100, if not more, I think. And I might be wrong about the number. I'll keep wanting to say 300, but it may not be that high, of homeless children here in Onslow County alone. Like, this should not be.
No.
This absolutely should not be. And we as people often, become complacent and get caught up in our own lives. But we have, I think we should help our fellow man. We know, do that
November.
a lot. Yeah.
8 November. Think about it.
Those that aren't willing to help or do what's best for the citizens have got to go. And I'm saying that even locally.
For those, especially locally, for those who are, all of you need to be voting. Okay. You should be voting. If you don't know who to vote for, go check the records of those who are in office. If you don't like what you see, you might give some serious consideration to somebody else.
There's some I don't like what I see.
There are some that I do not like what I see.
Yeah,
I don't care what party they're with.
Yeah.
Whether they're Democrats.
The party's
or
irrelevant, in my opinion.
It is totally irrelevant.
If you say you're going to do something, I'm going to monitor you and see if you're going to do it. But if you're unwilling to listen, if you're unbending, if you're not with the times, if you're not doing what is in the best interest of the people, and you're a current elected official, then you've got to go. Period. Bottom line.
Who said this? I've always been an independent-minded person. A Democrat, yes, but an independent Democrat, and my loyalties are very clear. I love our country. I took an oath, both as a service member, as a soldier, as well as a member of Congress, to support and defend the Constitution, and that's an oath that I take extremely seriously. Who said that? Tulsi Gabbard. And she quit the Democrat Party.
Yes, she did.
Good morning. Who's this?
just a donkey man this morning.
Hey ho, he home.
Yeah, I was told by a listener yesterday I hadn't called in, and I hadn't been calling in late. That's what I've been busy.
Well, you've been busy.
I have been busy.
Picking
I
pears
know mine.
and cleaning up after donkeys.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have done. I hadn't done the donkey thing. I've been trying to work on one. I got one that's got a bad foot, and I've been working on him, but we're fighting. So
you're fighting the donkey?
Well, yeah, we're fighting. Oh, yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to win against jackasses. Mm-hmm. I mean, we got 535 of them we try to win against.
You are exactly right. And he's world's worst. I mean, he's just worse than I can name a name, but I won't. But I was listening to Jennifer, and it pulls me back, and I want to clear. I'm not a Trump fan, but just like she said something about Steve talking about the illegals coming in, you can look in their eyes. One thing Trump was talking about, America was first, and that was one thing. Whether he could have kept that promise or not, couldn't tell you. But America was first.
Yep.
And I wanted to say that part, and she's exactly right. It's a crying shame that she was working her butt off, and he was working his. I know both of them very well.
Me too.
I mean, Jennifer's got a talent that is not exploited. I mean, she's fantastic with floral arrangement. My gosh, she's fantastic with it. And she has done a bunch for me before. And I just, it's a crying shame that we cannot help somebody who's trying to help themselves. Mm-hmm. And it just makes me, upsets me to no end. But I got a little news for y'all.
What's that?
Changing the subject. We had a long, hard battle with trying to keep the USDA in the county hands.
Yeah.
Had a long, hard battle. And they lost.
Uh-oh.
The county lost altogether. Well, guess what? The county actually finally won.
How?
I want to say that. They had found a building that right now it's temporary. But the county, as far as yesterday is concerned, and Robin might be gritting his teeth, may not want to be known. I don't know. But I came in, and they are moving to the county building temporarily. And I just want to say, who did, because D.C. brought this down. D.C. came down. Who the head was in Washington came down and said, no, this is what you're going to do. And all the powers that be that was underneath D.C. Kind of drug their feet and on a lot of things. Because now my wife's office was fixing to be homeless. They didn't have anywhere to go as of October 31st. But I don't know who done it. I know Royce had talked about it one time before, and they were going to try to do something. I don't know who it was in the county that maybe talked to somebody up there in the head of Washington, whatever. But right now, the FSA office and the NRC office, CS office, is going to be, as of right now, is going to be in the county building. Right there at the tax office,
that's good.
On the third floor, and that is fantastic. I don't know. Now this is called temporary. This is not permanent. They're still having to go out and do bids, have to do this, do that. It's a long, bad process. But I did want to tell I know there's 3 county commissioners. I don't know who done it or who pulled some strings or who done what.
I bet it was Sharon.
But
she's worked very hard on this and hasn't gotten the kudos that she needs to get. But I guarantee you Sharon and her staff are behind a lot of this because they were desperate to find places to put them. They did not want this,
Well,
dragging
on. I'm not going to say that right now. No. I'm not gonna. No. She may have tried to do something, but no. This was something different. That's something I'm not gonna say right now. But it was a pull and tug. They were supposed to be at a building over on Yacht Road that fell through, and it wound up somebody from Washington and said, "You're going to be in the county building right now. We don't know what's going to happen later." But my hat's off to who did it. I don't know who it was, but it was high up, somewhere high up. But I just want to say, because I like revenue. I love revenue.
Oh yeah, me too.
And that's revenue, and that is revenue, and I like it. And I just want to say, I don't know who it is, who it was. There's a lot of things that is known because I know people my wife don't even know I know, and I don't tell her, and it was handed down to me at a few things and all. But I'm not going to say. But I just want to say that I thank every who done it. I thank them. I really do.
Okay.
Now, like I said, we're going to say this again. This is temporary. It's not permanent.
Well,
we don't know what's going to happen.
Everything is temporary. Everything is temporary.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. But that was what was handed down, and it's public knowledge. That's why I'm telling. There's something I can't tell you. It's not permanent. My wife don't even know I know.
Well, she will find out soon, because I'm sure, I'll guarantee you that, now that you made it public.
Well, now this part's fine. It's public, but there's
No.
I said.
Now that you said that there are things that you know that she doesn't know, she's gonna hound you, son.
She ain't listening. She's at work. She's not
You don't
listening.
think somebody who's listening is not gonna call her?
Well, somebody tell her, but no. No, But no, I just want to say hats off to everyone who did it.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I really do. So that's what I want to put on. So I'm tickled to death for it because Kelly, just like we talk about bad things sometimes, we talk about the horse farm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a travesty.
Mm-hmm.
It has turned into a travesty. But hey, Robin was right. And
Robin was
I
right.
backed him on. I backed him on that because I said, "Yeah, I want y'all to have it if you'll enhance it." And what the first thing they did, they got rid of the director, and her and her crew was making the money.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say, Robin, thank you. And that's just going to be another vote for you, buddy. I'll go ahead and make that public. I voted for Robin the last time, and I intend to vote for him this time. And he's one of them. But y'all behave, be good. And
I'll do my best.
I just want to throw that out.
But I can't promise you.
Well, I'm going to try to be good at it. I mean, I defined irony to my wife this weekend, and it kind of blew her mind. My stepkid's dad died. He died of COVID, the old COVID. That's what the doctors claimed, the original COVID.
Right.
And he had all his shots and his boosters, and plus he had some underlying ailments. So that was contributed. And my daughter knows I dig graves sometimes for people.
Yep.
And she asked me to do it. And I was sitting there, because stupid has to kick in on me once in a while. And I looked at her and I said, define irony. She said, what do you mean?
Oh.
I said, define it. She said, I don't know what you mean. I said, your husband burying your ex-husband. And she looked at it. She gave me that grave. She gave me the graveyard look. Now, her ex-husband, we were friends. But yeah, and there's a bunch of people that goes out. Sometimes people can't afford to be buried, and we'll go out and dig. Me and Jason Gwynn started that about 20 years ago. And the late Kevin Barbie, he picked up on it, and there was a group of us. And now Daniel Jacoby does it sometimes, and in fact, he helped me out. And my hat's off to Daniel. He's a great guy. He really helped me out on that. And but yeah, I had to play stupid a minute. But now I love my stepchildren, and I'll do anything in the world for them. But now this has thrown them for a loop because it was sudden, and they got a hard road to hoe, y'all.
Our condolences all the way around.
I didn't even think the original COVID was still out there. That's scary.
Yeah, didn't either. Because he had all his shots, had all his boosters, and now he went in the hospital with pneumonia, and he had a slight heart attack. They confirmed, so they were going to send him to New Bern or Greenville. So they did a COVID test on him before they sent him. He popped positive. So he couldn't go anywhere.
Yep.
And bless his heart, he went downhill. And he's a great guy, fantastic guy. He was good with youth group, good with church. Yeah, man, he's just a great guy. But he will be missed.
All right. All right,
but y'all have a good one.
Thank you, sir.
I'll see y'all later.
Yep. You're live in Local Real Talk. We'll be right back. And we're back, and gonna have to take a real quick call here. Who's this?
Hey, Roy Bennett, how you doing?
Hello, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Commissioner. How are you?
I'm all right. Hey, I wanted to thank Tim, and I wanted to give credit where credit's due. It was Congressman Murphy's office that got that done.
That's good. Excellent.
And I know they got calls from farmers, and they got that done for us.
Okay. Well, I'm
good.
glad it did. That's kudos for him, to him.
It is a good thing.
It's a very good thing.
Have you got a second?
Go ahead.
Go for it.
A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the lawsuit with the city of Jacksonville.
Yes.
And we were concerned about how much it was going to cost our taxpayers. And I know that as of today, the county's insurance company has agreed to defend the county in that lawsuit, so it shouldn't cost the county anything. And of course, the first thing they'll do probably is file to be dismissed from the lawsuit because the county really has nothing to do with it at all.
Okay, good.
So
we're going to be
anyway,
talking. We're going to be talking in the next couple of days with one of the gentlemen that got that whole ward system started back in the 90s, was it? Jerome Willingham. He's reached out. He wants to come on and chat. So we'll be talking with him.
All right.
Cool.
All right.
I'll have a good day.
Thank you,
Thank
Royce.
you.
You're live and local Real Talk, and we'll be right back. And we are back here for the next couple of minutes or so. And
We are.
we understand. We asked one of our callers, Steve.
We did.
He's a singer.
He is.
He's obviously a songwriter as well. Hey, come up with a jingle for us. So this is a little. I haven't heard the whole thing, so bear with me. We're just going to play it kind of raw for you.
It's live and local, real talk. With Beaver, Kelly, and Lee. Coming to you Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. on WSME. Well, you can call right up, you can jump right in. Tell your family, yeah, tell your friends. It's live and local, real talk. On Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME.
Oh, Steve.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. It's
Steve,
good.
you did an amazing job.
Great
I love
job.
it. Yes.
So anyway, yeah, and tell your friends. That's what you need to do. You got a good message there. Tell your friends, tell your relatives, tell everybody, tell the world, put it on Facebook, share it with whoever, where we are, what time we're on, and interesting conversations we have, and with people like Steve on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
So, and you never know when you're going to hear the congressman. Next Tuesday, I think it is, we've got our U.S. Senator will be joining us. We got other individuals. Oh, my God, who's coming in tomorrow?
Marlo Harris.
Okay.
Mario Harris. I can't read this from
I
here.
can't
don't have
either.
my
That's too
glasses
far
on. It's
away.
either- I think it's Mario Harris.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll know more about it a little bit later on.
Lee wrote it on there.
And it's real small.
7:30. Yeah, I'm struggling.
And then on Friday, interesting, 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We're going to have a congressional candidate, another congressional candidate, and she's running against Dr. Murphy.
Dr. Murphy,
She is a Democrat.
Yep.
See, I told you we don't discriminate.
We don't.
And she's going to be in here and joining us in the studio. So mark your calendars for that time and the date, 7:30 in the morning. And then go ahead and write this number down because she'll be able to answer some questions if you have them. 910-333-0139. You need to put that in your cell phone anyway. Just put it under one of those numbers you want to call at any time. You don't have time to wait for me to say it because sometimes I forget. 910-333-0139. That should be a fun event. I like having these folks on that she's going to explain to us why we should vote for her.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the whole thing. We're looking for platforms. We're not snarky. We get to be snarky after you're elected.
Yeah.
So, but we just want to see if individuals are, if they got if they can do what they say they will do. Let's be realistic.
That's what I want.
Get on it.
Do what you say you're going to do.
Absolutely.
If you promise to do something, then do it.
And then after that, we're going to just keep notes of what their platforms are. Of course, we've got it always just recorded here.
Yeah.
And we can go back and pull it.
True.
But we want to know what your platform is, what you're going to do, and how you're going to get her done.
Yep.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
And hopefully there will be some of those issues that are important to me.
Yeah.
We've got to reach out to, of course, I've told George Cleveland several times, I've offered him time to come on. I don't need it. I don't need it. So his opponent's going to come back. Ike Johnson, Democrat opponents. We don't discriminate. Democrats are fine with us. So anyway, have a good rest of your day. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your comments. And Steve, thank you. My goodness gracious.
Love it, Steve.
I love it.
I love it.
You'll have to write something down to give us the rights to play that
He
or
wrote
whatever.
it on here.
Okay.
It's in our message.
Good.
He already gave us the rights.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. So we can
He gave us
submit that to
permission.
the idiots that are at YouTube or Facebook or wherever we decide to play it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
And to our station as well,
Yeah.
because we have to have permission unless it's a BMI or ASCAP
He gave
piece,
us-
because we're already licensed for all of
He
those.
gave us permission.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
You're live and local, Real Talk Freedom 97.1, 1120 a.m. WSME. Stay tuned. We'll be back in 22 hours.